Okay, so I want you guys to look at this page here. We have our Excel sheet. Okay, and on this Excel sheet here, I've written down grades and hockey assists. Okay, I got the people's names in our first column, their grades in the second, and assists in the third. What I need to do here is I need to highlight all three of these because I'm going to make a scatter plot, and I want the names to be involved, I want their grades, and I want their hockey assists. Don't worry about the titles. We can add those into a chart after. Okay? So what you guys would have to do is you guys would have to go into, if you have a Windows version, and I think the button is Insert, Chart. Okay? So I went to Charts here if you have a Mac. So I went into Charts, and we're looking at a scatter plot. We're just doing a marked scatter plot. They may have smooth line curves. We don't really need that right now. So we're doing a marked scatter plot. And if you notice, they've given me two different points, Series 1 and Series 2. I don't want two different points. I want two sets of data along this. So you guys will have to go in. When you're making the chart in Windows, this will be an option for you, okay? I'm going into the data section. This data section you guys have seen before. It'll be on one of your first two charts. It'll be like series of data. You have to click on that tab, okay? And what I'm going to do is I want you guys to look at, you guys will have a button that either has it checked off as columns or checked off as rows. On mine, I have a switch columns and rows. So I'm going to switch. And if you guys notice, the series gives me all the names. So these are the names of everybody, okay? This is quite important. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to focus on what we have here. So the first one says Sheet 1, A3. That's for Paul. So I look over. Yes, that's right. That is Paul. That's exactly what I want under name. For the X value, I'm going to put my grades on the X values. Now, what's the problem is when you highlight this, they put the wrong values in our X value. Okay? For our X value, we just want the one number right here. And that's at B3 for Paul. So I go into the X value, and I make sure just B3 is what's written. So I go over, I erase, and I have B3. Does that say B? Yeah, B $3. That just means it's indefinite. That's good. The next thing we're going to do is I go into the Y value. The Y value I want for Paul is his hockey assists. Okay? Hockey assists are in C3. So same idea. I go into the Y values, and I erase the other number so that it just says C3. Okay? So now that it just says C3, Paul on the chart is going to be changed. What I need to go is into each of these guys. So let's go into Dave. C3. Okay. So let's go over into Dave. So Dave shows up under A4. That's where his name is. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Dave's name is in A4. But his X value is in B4. So I go over to X values, and I need to change these numbers. I go back. B4 is what I want for X. And then what will I want for his Y value? Anyone know? C4. That's right. So we go, and we erase the other numbers. We only have C4 in there. So I need to go to each of the series, which are the names of the guys. For instance, Chris. Chris is in A5. That's perfect. So in the X value, I want B5, and in the Y value, I want C5. You need to do that for each of the individuals. And what you're going to end up with at the end, pause this for a sec. At the end of this, you're going to set up, it'll have Paul, Dave, Chris, Mario, Bowser, Brian, Raiden, and Blanca. Our names will actually be here. So this is Paul. I think Dave was actually set up properly. So if you notice, Dave had almost a 98%, and he had almost 50 assists. So he ends up there on the scatter plot. After you do them all, there will only be one symbol or point for each person, but you'll have all the names on the side so that you guys don't have to actually write them into the graph. It makes the graph much cleaner like this.